I'm Rob Skinner, and this is the Rob Skinner Podcast. Today I'm talking to Mike Fontenau in Perth, Australia. He's leading a tour of the Holy Land in 2027. We're going to be talking to him about his plans, what he'll show, what he'll see, what he's going to be talking about on that tour. All this and more on the Rob Skinner Podcast. Mike, welcome back to the program.
Great to be here.
Now, Mike, I talked to Ed Anton recently, and I know you guys are old friends and partners in the gospel. He told me that you guys are going on a tour of the Holy Land. Now, is that true?
That's true. We're scheduled. Obviously, the schedule has changed because of political events. But I think, Lord willing, next October 2027, we hope to lead a tour there.
Okay, terrific. Okay, and for this tour, do you already have the locations and where you're going to be going sketched out?
Well, we do. We have the basic thing, and of course, we have some flexibility because there are new things opening up all the time. This is like our 8th or 9th tour, so even to keep us fresh, we like to see new things as well. And but we fly into Tel Aviv. We base ourselves at Tiberias, which is on the western shore of the Sea of Galilee. It is an old Roman administrative town. And from there, we go on our we have hotels there on the Sea of Galilee, overlooking the Sea of Galilee. And then we go to places like Capernaum, which is called the hometown of Jesus in the Gospel of Mark. We go to Caesarea Philippi, where Peter makes his great confession that Jesus is the Christ, and that there's actually this big rock and the gates. It's called the gates of hell, or the doorway to hell. And we have a great lesson there. We go to Caesarea Maritime, which is on the Mediterranean, where Paul was in prison, where Peter preached to Cornelius, and the history of the church there. And we go to the amphitheater where Herod was preaching when he didn't give glory to God and was consumed by worms, whatever it was. We go to Dan, the ancient city of Dan, as well as a place where the temple of where Jeroboam set up a rival temple to Jerusalem when the nation was split, where the idols of Baal were there. They're not there anymore, but the place is there, and you get a real feel there. And then we go to the Golden Heights, which is the very northern section there. It's a very orange section. We're able to go into that. And from there, you can look down and see the road to Damascus, where the Apostle Paul was on. You can see and Damascus way in the distance. And say, okay, that's where Paul was there. And then and a few other places around that place. We go on the side of the hill where Jesus probably did the Sermon on the Mount, and we have a lesson there, of course. And usually we have somebody who memorizes the whole thing and says it there without notes. But as you see the Sea of Galilee, you see the city set on a hill, Tiberias, and then you can really get a real feel for that moment at times. We go to the city of Magdala, where and the synagogue there is in great preservation as well. As I said, we have dinner there and get to eat some seafood from the Sea of Galilee, and eat the St. Peter's fish. And the fish there that they call the St. Peter's fish, it's a tilapia of sorts. Tends to have a spot on its side where Jesus held it, left his footprint, his fingerprint. Obviously, that's a myth. And then after that, we go to Jerusalem as our second base place. We always stay in hotels. All the touring includes our hotels, our breakfasts, our dinners, our transport, and our admission to every site that we are going to go see. And all that's left is if you want to eat lunch, to eat lunch. And from there in Jerusalem, of course, we go to the Temple Mount, we go to the Wailing Wall, we go to the house of Caiaphas, and we go to the the Mount of Olives. We go across down that road to Jericho, where the Good Samaritan rescued the guy on that road. We go to the site of Jericho and all that area there, and then and into Bethlehem as it's you have to go into the West Bank at that time, and generally that's a little bit trickier, especially at these political times. At every place that we go, we always have a biblical lesson from a text of what happened at that spot. And so if we're in Capernaum, we'll have a lesson on the paralyzed guy being let down to the roof. And of course, that's what there's a synagogue there. The very floor of it was a synagogue built by the centurion who came to Jesus and said, I understand authority. It's the place after Jesus feeds the 5,000 in the Gospel of John. He goes to Capernaum and has this great encounter with those people who sought him out about eat my body, drink my blood. And you get a real feel there of the intensity of all that was going on. And Galilee is much more pristine than Jerusalem, because Jerusalem's an active city. But from Jerusalem, we'll go down to the Dead Sea. We'll go down to En Gedi, where Solomon would take his wife, where David hid in caves there from Saul. And it's pristine. It has wildlife there. And that's a great walk and a good feel for that. And then in Jerusalem itself, we go to the pool of Bethsaida in John chapter 5. As I said, Caiaphas' house, and have a sermon there about where Peter denies Jesus. And we were able to go into the very cisterns underneath the house where most everybody thinks Jesus was held during that night after he was arrested there. And we were able to sing hymns there at that point, which is a tremendous place to sing. And and of course we go to the Garden of Gethsemane, and we go to the old town itself, where you get a real good feel of, because it really feels like an ancient place. So those are some of the great things that we do, and there's so many things. Sometimes we go to Masada to get a feel for the Jewish revolt in AD 70, but we don't always go there. But some people really want. We have a flexibility, and there are opening sites.
Right.
We go to the city of David, which has been excavated in the last 10 years in a remarkable way, to the Pool of Siloam, which if you went in Hezekiah's tunnel, it entered what they thought was the Pool of Siloam. But recently, of course, they found the real Pool of Siloam.
Oh, really?
Yeah. It's much more.
Wow.
Feels like it there, and so those are all some of the great spots that you can see.
How awesome is that? Okay. How many years have you been doing this for?
We've been doing,
you said 8 or 9 tours.
Yeah, I probably for the last 20 years, 20 plus years. And so Ed, Anton and I do most of the lessons, and then our wives do a lot of the lessons as well, particularly at sites that are appropriate.
And when are you going?
We're tentatively going in October 2027. So hopefully there'll be
October 20. Okay.
Then.
And how much is it going to cost? What's the total all-in price for one person?
Because people are coming from the Spa region in Australia, and then from England, and from the American Commonwealth region, from Eastern Europe. So it tends to, whatever your airfare costs is one cost, and then the tour itself has been about $1,300 or $1,400, which is 10 nights, and all the food, transportation, and admission fees per person.
That seems really good.
Yeah, we try
Does that
to
include
keep it down.
housing?
That's in US dollars.
I want to go. That would be awesome. I went one time, but Pam didn't go, and it really built my faith. I mean, it was inspiring. It really, really just to see those places in real life. It's hard to imagine how impacting that is to take what you've been reading in the Bible for years and put flesh on it to make it a reality. It was hard to kind of comprehend the value of that. That was awesome. How do you keep it fresh for yourself, Mike? You've done it so many times.
Well, of course, as I said, we always try to get new spots, and we haven't gone in 3 or 4 years, and so I think it'll be fresh, even the lessons that we give, and the spots themselves. If you're in Capernaum, you have a choice of several texts to actually speak, and so that'll vary in making it fresh. We'll go to Mount Carmel where Elijah took on the prophets of Balaam. Of course, we got to preach that particular text at that point, at that spot. But not only the prophets, not only about that text where Elijah takes on the prophets, but about the woman who comes, who Elijah has raised her, this woman has a child. She takes care of the prophet, a room. The child dies, and she goes to find Elijah at Mount Carmel, you know, and how she has this faith, because Elijah sends his messengers. What do you want? And she just says, "It is well, with my soul." This kind of faithful comment. If she get to Elijah, her son will be taken care of. And of course, that great story of the guy who wrote that song, who actually lived in Jerusalem after he lost his family in a shipwreck, and how anyway it all fits in that, because
That's awesome.
because her calling, it is well, is a sign of faith. It's going to be okay. And so all these, there's so many lessons. As I said, when you go to Israel, it's there are layers, and we can go to a site like Hazor, and it's an ancient kingdom. We go to Beth Shean, which was where they hung Saul's body over the wall. This Greek town. It was the Decapolis area, and all the ruins there are in great shape. And so of course we have lessons there about what happened at that point. And again, many choices of lessons.
That's awesome. Now, what about the war? There's been fighting in Lebanon and, of course, the Middle East war in Iran. So, what are your thoughts on that? How are you going to handle that?
Well, obviously, we'll have to wait and see what happens. It's very hard to tell, but everybody prays for peace.
How does it work? Is it like if you put your money down, is there like a refund policy? How does that work?
Oh, sure.
In case there's fighting?
Yeah, there'll be a refund policy. Yeah.
Got it. Okay. Awesome.
But if they do have peace, it'll be for a while. If they have friction, it lasts a bit. But when peace comes, it stays for a while. I've never felt any danger with it. So it's very, very safe.
That's awesome. Thank you so much for joining the program. I hope you and Tess are doing great. Now, I did hear I heard one thing from Ed. He said this was going to be your last tour, and I thought I better talk to Mike. Is that true?
I think so. I've done this tour maybe eight times, but I've never taken my children have never been on it. Now so that's part of the drive as well. That they'll always, they want to go there and be on that tour as well. So it'll be a great time. But I'm sure it'll be my last time.
That's great. That's great. Well, have a great time. I'd love to bring Pam. We're going to have to talk about that. Thank you so much for joining the program.
No worries, Rob. Great talking.
And thanks for listening to the program. Here's how you can help support the program. First of all, join the Fast for Revival, June 28th through July 1st. We're going to be fasting for 72 hours. You can go to robskinner.com for more information, because my goal is to inspire you to live a no regrets life, make this life count, and multiply disciples, leaders, and churches. Have a great day and make this life count.